My name is Pierre Bissonnette. I have a Master of Art in Christian Studies specializing in spiritual care. I work for John Howard Society and I am the Executive Director of Shalom Ministry Center. We specialize working with the homeless and drug addiction and recovery. Now for the book that I have chosen. The book that I read is The Triumph of Christianity. How the Jesus movement became the world's largest religion by Rodney Starr. When I look into the Amazon website to find this book, there was a little writing that really interests me. The celebrated religious and social historian Rodney Starr traced the extraordinary rise of Christianity to its most pivotal and controversial moment to offer fresh perspective on the history of the world's largest religion in the triumph of Christianity. And what really appealed to me into this was that he was a social historian, and the perspective becomes from a sociology point of view of the history of the world's largest religion. It's exciting, and I'm very happy that I chose it. Let's begin the review. The book is divided in 6 sections. He began by explaining the religious background prior to the birth of Jesus. 3 groups are important to notice. The first group are the Oriental faith, specifically the ISIS. The second group is the Hellenistic Jews. And the third is the Pharisees. Because the book is about the triumph of Christianity, we have to understand that some of his main object will be of how people were converted. Also, the book explains the context in which Jesus was raised and what social aspects are important to notice. He presents much ideas about how are we to understand the culture into which Jesus was raised. And he presents ideas like, is Jesus was a carpenter or not? Or was he a rabbi? Or was he both? So now to go back in the time of where that we start the conversion of people. I presented 3 different groups and how important they were. The first is the ISIS. The ISIS are important because they have the most temple, and also they practice a more monotheism religion. So choosing one God above all the other God, basically. So when we think about this, there's a transition, a continuity for them to be eased into Christianity. Now the Hellenistic Jews are important as well because they had the Septuagint, they spoke Greek, and they were all around the Roman Empire. And the Pharisees are important because they instituted the synagogue system, which means that they were all over with their synagogue, which we see Paul go into the synagogue. Therefore, these elements helped evangelize and bring convert to Christianity. The main point of the book is about conversion and some event that took place while this history developed. The first point is found in the first chapter, and it's about the idea of a contrast that the author makes in between the idea of the pagan, how they celebrate it, and there's some feast once in a while, and it's not a continual thing. But yet, the early church, the contrast with this is like it's regularly, it's joyful, it's incredible, and he even present the idea of emotionalism, if you would say. Let me read you a small portion of this. In contrast, the new faith stresses celebration, joy, ecstasy, and passion. Music play a leading role in their service, not only flute and horn, but an abundance of groups singing and dancing. Point 2. As we see in the church, people are excited and they're dancing and singing, playing flute and horn, and they really embrace the celebration that they are partaking in. The growth of the church is done as well with these people who are so excited and so happy that they go to their friends and families and they help propel the church one by one, because of that excitement is contagious. Now let me read another passage that presents that the evangelism of people is done one-on-one. To convert someone, you must be or become their close and trusted friend. Consequently, when someone converts to a new religion, then they usually seek to convert their friend and relative, and consequently, conversion tends to proceed through social network. My last point is a summary of a passage that in the book. It's about the plague. In the book, it talks about the plague, but it's about the compassion that the Christian had during that plague, and the mercy and all of it. They showed compassion. But this point is also included to something we learn about our lecture that we received when he says that we were different because of compassion. And I spoke about, well, today compassion is practiced by non-Christian and Christian. But it was a statement that says at the end that faith matters. And this is so important to me because it answers how is it that I would be acting different in my compassion is because faith matters, and I might be able to bring conversion or salvation and present the cross to those I serve. These 3 points are working hand in hand. The joy of salvation must remain in me, and sometimes I have a hard time remembering the joy of salvation. And the excitement of salvation is contagious. So when I go on the street on my ministry, I should go with an excitement. I do at times, and I am very passionate about my ministry. I love the homeless and I love the drug addict because I was there. I know what it looks like. But I just want to say that these 3 points connect because it's the joy of salvation, and then with this I share my faith with them, and I need to learn to share boldly. And my last comment would be that it is the faith that I have that brings that act of compassion, that I sit in silence with them in their pain and work along with them to help them overcome this tragedy. Thank you for listening to me, and it's been a pleasure to present this book.